Beyond Reichland, Ostermark, and the reach of the Empire stands a frozen bulwark. Kislev, a fractured kingdom besieged from within and without by enemies of ideology and chaos. Tsarina Katerin, daughter of Tsar Boris the Beloved, rules from the peaks of the Boka Palace in the city of Kislev. The Ice Queen must lean heavily on her ice court if she means to bring order and security to these turbulent lands. But there are those who do not approve of Katerin's reign and would sooner see themselves in power. It's from Castle Alexandrinov, stronghold of the Great Orthodoxy and seat of Supreme Patriarch Kostaltin, that the Tsarina faces the most immediate threat to her rule. These two Kislevite figureheads vie for the people's devotion, so they might employ powerful boons from their pantheon of gods. Further north, between the northern and eastern oblasts, stands the Cursed City. Prague is the bastion of the north, a title earned through blood, corruption, and endless siege. A dying, tainted beast thrashing against the inevitability of its fate. In the east, far from Kislev's frosty plains, loom the deadly mountains of Morn. Here, ogres and other merciless beasts make their home, though none more awe-inspiring than the deified Firemouth volcano, from which magic-wielding ogres known as Firebellies draw their considerable power. Winding ivory road, the Great Hall of Greasus can be smelt before seen. Inside, Greasus Goldtooth the Over-Tyrant counts his riches and gorges on the spoils of his bountiful greed, all the while accepting mercenary contracts from anyone with deep enough pockets. Further east, straddling the border between the mountains of Morn and Grand Cathay, is the narrow Worm Pass. Though far from home, Scrag the Slaughterer and his insane rabble have pilgrimaged from the west to pay tribute to the Great Maw, their violent god. Scrag drags behind him a mountain of bloody offerings to feed the beast in exchange for sinister rewards. Bordering these terrible mountains are the isolated lands of Grand Cathay. Past the Warpstone Desert in the heart of the wastelands of Jinshin, Zhao Ming defends Hanyu Port from brazen ogres and burrowing Skaven. It is the duty of the dragon siblings to maintain the harmony between yin and yang. Doing so will ensure Grand Cathay's strength and prosperity. On the most eastern edge of Grand Cathay is the capital city of the Celestial Loyalists, Wei Jin, above which hangs the Celestial City, home of the Dragon Emperor. With the turn of the Wujing compass, the Dragon Emperor's children can carve out Cathay's fate, economic powerhouse or machine of war. The compass decides. The Great Bastion snakes and weaves across miles of country, physically separating Grand Cathay from the chaos wastes beyond. For centuries has this wall stood firm, repelling legions upon legions of twisted demons and foul chaos worshippers. The Cathayans must remain vigilant, for the threat of invasion is ever growing. Past the lands of stone and steel is Gunpowder Road, home of Nangao and Miaoying. From here, the Storm Dragon rules the northern provinces and garrisons the Great Bastion. To fund such a task, she dispatches caravans along the Ivory Road, trading with distant lands beyond the mountains. Hers is the task of unending stewardship, for if the Bastion falls, it's the people who suffer.
欢迎回来，我是阿姆西。这部片子给我印象最深刻的就是震旦边境各城市所处的位置，大多数的都处于咽喉要道，让人非常的舒服。昭明镇守的西部防线呢有2处河道缺口，但都有城市扼守。往东又有2处河道缺口，同样被城市扼守。全战三国玩了这么久，最后呢才出了关卡。而战锤3一上来就至少有4处类似于关卡的城市，但可惜的是，到了北方防线就没有这么舒服的扼守要道城市了。虽有化作地形天堑的长垣，长垣内部还设置了瓮城，但是长垣本身呢已被破关，而那个瓮城呢似乎也只是一个样子货。而且这一处破损和南高城还有一些距离，北方防线防守起来呢就没有那么舒服了。另外呢，对于微津我有一点想吐槽这个微津的背面，也就是北面是敌占区，是混沌荒原。你这天庭建筑背对敌人，总感觉有一些奇怪就算是龙帝实力滔天，不怕混沌攻击天庭，但人家混沌从北方望过来，看你个建筑屁股总感觉有一些违和。这种浮空的需要朝向的城市建筑呢，还是应该背靠大海，或者直接设计成360度无明显朝向，就会舒服很多。但是呢，这只是一个很小很小的问题。总体来说，我对震旦呢还是很满意的。我们2月份第一个档就直接开启震旦天朝。